guys, today I have a pregnancy related video, and you know that I am now about 2 months postpartum. My baby boy Calvin was born on May 27th at 1:26 in the afternoon, and so I'm about 2 months postpartum right now, but I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about some unexpected symptoms that I experienced during my pregnancy. So just some stuff that I totally was not aware of and didn't really know was going to happen, and stuff that really surprised me. So I've broken it down by trimester, so let's hop right in and I'll tell you guys a little bit about my entire pregnancy symptoms. So I have broken it down into trimesters, like I said, but the first trimester definitely has the most stuff. So the most surprising things were taking place right off the bat. So let me get into what kind of stuff was going on. And just FYI, this could be a very TMI video, so if you're not comfortable with that kind of stuff, then I'm not going to go into like super detail or anything like that, but there is some stuff that's not necessarily just everyday conversation material. Okay, so the first thing on my list is constipation. I had no idea that that was going to happen, and it was terrible and horrible, and I think it lasted pretty much like maybe halfway through my entire pregnancy, and that was sucky. As you know, you feel completely, totally tired, exhausted, like an unbelievable tiredness. Like, I was not prepared for the level of tiredness that I had. I was in bed by 8 o'clock every single night, like the entire first trimester, because I was just absolutely exhausted. I wanted to nap in the middle of work. Like, halfway through the day, I was like, dude, if I don't get a nap, I'm gonna die. As soon as I got home, I just laid on the couch and did a whole bunch of nothing. It was an overwhelming, exhausted kind of feeling. I didn't expect the round ligament pain to begin as early as it did. And I took my pregnancy test. Let's see, we got pregnant like middle of September. I took the test like first week of October, and at Halloween I was already having a lot of round ligament pain, and that lasted almost throughout. I don't remember it so much at the end of my pregnancy, but I was on bed rest at the end of my pregnancy, so maybe not moving around a bunch was kind of contributing to not feeling that much, but the round ligament pain was definitely like pretty much throughout, and that was like all the time. Anytime I stood up, I sneezed, I coughed, you know, like all kinds of things would trigger it, and I felt it a lot, and I didn't expect it to be as early as it was, and I didn't quite expect it to be as frequent as it was either. The level of sensitivity on my nipples was a big surprise. I remember one day, it was very early on, I had read that people said that it would be so hurty in the shower, like you wouldn't even want the shower water to touch your nipples, and that definitely happened to me. That's definitely a true statement that people have said that I had read when I was researching, you know, early pregnancy symptoms and stuff. That was intense. I almost want to say that first initial nipple pain at the beginning, just like sensitivity, is worse than what I've experienced during nursing. The random food aversions really caught me off guard. I knew that ladies, you know, had cravings and whatnot. I knew that you would desire foods that were very strange, but I didn't really realize how much you would just hate foods that you used to love, and that was definitely apparent. I remember I did not like saucy things. Like, I used to love Hot Pockets. I love Hot Pockets, the pepperoni ones. I mean, I could eat Hot Pocket every lunch just because it's super easy and they're good, but I know they're terrible for you. I know. But anyway, they're so saucy on the inside. Just thinking about eating that saucy Hot Pocket, that totally grossed me out. Like, anything with really saucy, like really saucy pizza or like spaghetti and really saucy things, like meaty saucy things, freaked me out a bunch in the beginning. Oh, another thing that I didn't think would start so early was the peeing all the time. I thought you get pregnant and you need to pee because baby's sitting on your bladder, so you don't really need to pee all the time until you get bigger, right? No, that's not the case. Your like blood has increased, you know, the amount of fluids you have in your body, and so you're filtering everything out and you have a ton of pee all the time. I was peeing a million times a day right from the very beginning. I had no idea how quickly that was going to start. Another thing that happened really quickly was my growing out of my regular clothes, and I was already a few pounds heavier than I normally would be when I got pregnant, so that wasn't helpful either. I used to be like a size 4 in pants, and I really was more of a size 6 when I got pregnant, but I was still trying to fit into those size 4 pants, and that was not working with my bloated belly and the little bit of growth that I had during the first trimester. Trying to fit in those size 4s was not happening, so I grew out of a lot of my pants really early and I totally didn't expect that to happen. Oh, and even from the very beginning, my abs just felt tight. I felt like I had done 100 crunches or something. Like, I just felt like my abs were really tight, like almost immediately from the very beginning. And I know that a lot of people have different skin issues. Your skin changes a lot. You know, you reduce acne, or you get acne, or you get oilier, or you get drier. My skin was oilier than ever, and I have oily skin, and I had no clue that it could get any oilier than it was, but it totally did. It was so oily, unbelievably oily, and I did get some acne issues. I never used to really struggle with acne. I'd get like a pimple a month or so, you know, nothing serious at all, but I was getting a couple at a time during my whole pregnancy. And I know a lot of those symptoms were kind of negative, not exactly the most exciting things, but one positive is a reduction in headaches. I have suffered from headaches and migraines for as long as I can remember, since, you know, probably middle school, and they suck. I mean, just waking up in the morning and knowing you're gonna have a headache by the end of the day and nothing really helps, you know, that was always the suckiest thing. But being pregnant, I had like maybe a handful of headaches the whole time, and I don't think one of them was ever a debilitating, terrible headache where I just had to lay around all day. So that was awesome. That's maybe my favorite thing about being pregnant, is that I didn't have headaches all the time. That was super awesome. If that happens for the rest of my pregnancies, I'm gonna just keep popping out babies, because that's amazing. Okay, that was the first trimester. All of those things started occurring in the first trimester, and I was totally caught off guard by them. So second trimester, not as bad, not so many things. Let's see what we've got. Oh, outgrowing the maternity clothes and the rapid weight gain. I gained a lot more weight than anyone should during their pregnancy, and I don't even know exactly what the number was. It was at least 50 pounds, but I wasn't weighing myself. I didn't weigh myself after 32 weeks because I was in the hospital on bed rest and I didn't have access to a scale, and I really didn't care enough to go search for one or anything. So I didn't weigh myself after 32 weeks, but at 32 weeks I was already up 50 pounds. So holy crap. Yeah. So I didn't expect that much weight gain. I didn't expect it to keep piling on as quickly as it did, and I didn't expect to start outgrowing my maternity clothes. At the beginning of my pregnancy, when I bought a bunch of maternity clothes like on clearance at Target and stuff, like super cheap stuff, I was like, I'll need these in the end. When I got those clothes, I was like, man, that's really big. I don't know if I'll ever fit into that. No, I outgrew a lot of that stuff. So it was crazy how fast I grew and how big my belly was and how nothing ever fit, and that sucked. And I wasn't just growing a belly, I gained a lot of weight in my thighs and hips, and just my whole middle section gained a lot of weight. And I did put on a lot of water weight. I looked like a balloon. I looked all swollen everywhere. I just looked so swollen. My feet were swollen, my face looked chubbier. I mean, if you look back just a few videos back when I was still pregnant and then a few weeks after I like already gave birth, I was just so chubby looking. It was crazy. I just put on a lot of water weight and a lot of regular weight too. And because of all that weight gain, I got stretch marks super fast. I started getting them around 20 weeks. Halfway through my pregnancy, I was already covered in tiger stripes. And I totally did not expect that to happen so quickly, but that's just because I was gaining so much weight in the beginning. You know, by halfway, I probably gained as much weight as what a normal person would gain throughout the entire pregnancy. So I expected to start getting stretch marks when I got like super huge, you know, the last couple months, but not at the halfway mark. That was surprising. And along with the weight gain, just the chubbiness and the swollenness, my feet were so swollen. It sucked really bad. I didn't go up a shoe size though. I hear that some ladies will, like, their arch of their feet will flatten a little bit and make their foot a little bit bigger, and you won't be able to fit into your old shoes. That didn't happen to me. Now, like, now that I'm postpartum 2 months, I can fit into all the shoes that I wore beforehand. But at the end of my pregnancy, because my feet were so swollen, they were a little tight. Some of my like flats and stuff were a little bit tight on my feet, but they went back to normal after my pregnancy. It was just the swelling and the chubbiness from being pregnant that made shoes kind of difficult toward the end. So along with that weight gain, the chubbiness, the swollenness, I couldn't wear my wedding ring about halfway through. I had to take it off and wear it around my neck. I still can't wear it. I still have about 25 pounds to lose of the baby weight and whatnot. And I can fit it on there, but it looks so fat and chubby around the edges that I just don't wear it. So the ring came off way faster than I thought it would. And also a little TMI, but the amount of discharge at like toward the end of the second trimester, I had to start wearing a panty liner like every single day in order to combat that awkward feeling because it was a lot of discharge, like more than I have ever experienced like in any part of my menstrual cycle or anything. So that's definitely a thing. You can't just run free and you think, oh, I don't have my period for 9 months. It starts getting weird about halfway through and you do have to start wearing panty liners. At least I did. And lastly, for the second trimester, my hips ached super duper bad. I didn't expect the aches to start so early. Like I said, I mean, I gained a ton of weight. Everything just seemed to happen a lot quicker than I thought it would because I was gaining so much weight. I know that has a big role in it, and so not everybody's gonna feel the same way. None of these symptoms, you know, this might not be exactly how everybody's pregnancy goes. If you gain 50 pounds, maybe it might be similar, but the achiness of my hips was definitely a thing. They just felt so achy, like just my joints. Like I felt like my legs could just fall out of the sockets of my hips, like just getting out of bed in the morning, you know, sitting up and walking around. I mean, just moving up, like my hips just ached a lot during the second trimester. And I know that has a lot to do with the weight gain, as a lot of this stuff does. But it's also, you know, the relaxin hormones trying to get your joints and everything all loose and ready to birth a baby. So lastly, for the third trimester, I don't have a lot of things in here, but the stretch marks kept on growing. I thought they were bad halfway through. They were twice as many stretch marks by the end of the pregnancy. And then after Cal was born and my belly, you know, went back to, or well, kind of back to a normal-ish state, not a big giant belly, even more stretch marks started to appear that you didn't really see beforehand. So the stretch marks were never ending. And lastly, for the third trimester, I started to feel more tired toward the end. I started to get that really bad exhausted feeling that I had during the first trimester. And along with that, I also, I think it was like the last week or so, I started to have like a morning sickness kind of feeling again. You know, where you get to that point where you're like so hungry, you need to eat, but the thought of eating just grosses you out. Like you need to eat so bad that it makes you feel sick. That's how I felt like many days in a row the last couple of weeks of my pregnancy. So I hope this was a little bit entertaining for you guys, maybe a little bit of a heads up for those of you who are first-time mommies out there. This was my first pregnancy. I had read a million articles, you know, I was researching everything the whole entire pregnancy, and yet I was still very surprised by a lot of things, as you guys can tell. Everything just happened so much faster and so much quicker than I ever imagined it would. And looking back, it's amazing. It's so crazy that I'm already done. My baby's here. He's already 2 months old. That pregnancy just absolutely flew by. I felt like the first trimester was so long because I wasn't telling you guys. I had held it a secret only to like my close family and everything until almost the first trimester was over. And so that first trimester just dragged and dragged and dragged because I couldn't tell you guys. And then the second trimester and the third trimester just absolutely flew by. I mean, this pregnancy just really did absolutely fly by. And these past 2 months that Calvin has been here really have flown by too, so it's absolutely crazy. It's totally true what everybody says, that time really does fly and you need to cherish every single day of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was entertaining for you. Let me know what other kind of pregnancy related or baby related, mommy related videos you guys want to see on this channel, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye! Here's Calvin. He just woke up from a nap and he's really upset, so I gotta show you guys quickly before he starts crying because he really needs to eat. He's like starving to death. So there's my Calvin Lee. Super duper cute. He is gonna be, he's like 7.5 weeks right now. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to put up this video, but right now as I'm showing you guys, he's 7.5 weeks.